What it do, YouTube? This your boy Network Prodigy. Welcome to another whiteboard session, even though we're inside a packet tracer right now. But this whiteboard session is going to focus on DHCP snooping. Now, DHCP snooping, this is going to be a feature that we enable on our switches to where we want to prevent servers, DHCP servers that is, that are not authorized to issue out IP addresses to our clients. We want to prevent those DHCP servers from issuing out IP addresses to our clients. So let's look at our network right now. We have our 4 PCs down here that are connected off of this switch right here. And all of these PCs are DHCP clients. So when they connect to the network, they're configured to get their IP address information via DHCP. Now we have a router over here that's connected to the internet, and he's acting as our DHCP server. So when our 4 clients connect to the network, they should be getting an IP address via DHCP from our router. The problem is, though, somebody has decided to bring their own router from the house, and that router is also connected to our switch. So this router over here that you see labeled as Rogue DHCP Server, this is a router that somebody has brought from home. Now, anytime you hear the term rogue, whether it's referring to a switch, an AP, a firewall, a router, all it means is some type of device that's on the network that is not authorized to be there. So somebody has brought their router from home, they've connected it to the network, it's configured as a DHCP server, meaning it can actually assign IP addresses to our clients, but it's not authorized to do that. So that's why he's labeled as a rogue DHCP server. So we want to prevent this router from being able to issue IP address information to our clients. So that's why we enable DHCP snooping. So let me kind of explain to you what would happen if you did not enable DHCP snooping. Let's say Bob plugs into the network from his PC, which is this PC right here. And this PC is configured to be a DHCP client. Well, he's going to try to discover if there's any DHCP servers that already exist. And what if this rogue DHCP server happens to send IP address information down to Bob? And let's just say that he gets the IP of 192.168.12.1. He's going to get a 24-bit mask, so 255.255.255.0. And then the IP address of his gateway is actually going to be the IP address of this router. And let's just say it's 192.168.12.254. Now here's the problem. If Bob wants to be able to get out to the internet, which is out here, all that traffic has to first go to his gateway, which is 192.168.12.24, but that's the rogue router. So that means all of Bob's traffic is going to go this way. Now, this user, whoever brought this router from home, he may have his router configured to eventually send the traffic this way so that it hits this router and away it goes to the internet. So Bob is able to get to where he needs to get to. But he can also have his laptop right here running some type of packet sniffer. So all of that traffic that's coming to his router can easily be sent down to his laptop. And what can happen is the attacker can now see any traffic that's leaving this LAN down here trying to go to the internet. And what this attacker has done is successfully implemented what we call a man-in-the-middle attack. So instead of the traffic going to this router and then going out to the internet, is first going to the attacker's router, who can then send that traffic to some device that's running like Wireshark or something, and he can analyze everything that's going on. So this is why we want to prevent this router from issuing out IP addresses to our clients. And here's how it works. We're going to enable DHCP snooping. And what DHCP snooping does is it's going to look for any DHCP message that would typically come from a server. And if the switch sees it, he's going to drop it. So you first got to understand what the DHCP messages are. You have the discover message, you have the offer, you have the request, and you have the acknowledgement. Okay. The discover message, this is typically going to come from the client when he first connects, because he's trying to discover if any DHCP servers exist. The offer message is typically going to come from the server. So once the server gets the discover message, the server responds with an offer message where he's offering an IP address to the client. The client is then going to respond with a request where he's requesting that IP, and then the server is going to respond with an acknowledgement where he's simply just acknowledging to the client that IP is good to go. So when you enable DHCP snooping, you're basically telling the router, look for any the switch, look for any DHCP offer messages and any DHCP acknowledgement messages. If you happen to see these messages trying to come in, I want you to deny them. So for example, Bob is down here on his PC. Okay, when his PC first connects, the PC is going to send the discover message. So it comes up into the switch, and since this is a broadcast, it's going to go over to the Rogue DHCP server. Okay, now when the server gets it, or this router gets it, he's then going to respond with the DHCP offer message, and it's going to come back this way to the switch. If DHCP snooping was not enabled, the switch would allow it, and then the offer message would get sent down to Bob's PC, who would then respond with a request, and then the server responds with an acknowledgement. But since we enable DHCP snooping, when the server responds with an offer message, the switch is going to drop it. So the DHCP offer message never makes it to Bob's machine. Now how this works is when you enable DHCP snooping, every single interface on this switch is untrusted. That means if the switch sees a DHCP offer message or a DHCP acknowledgement message, the switch is going to drop it because the port is untrusted. So again, this is Bob on his PC down here. The PC sends a discover message. It's going to come into the switch, and then the switch is going to forward it out to the server, this Rogue server over here. When the server tries to respond with an offer message this way, since this port is untrusted, the switch is going to drop it right there. Now I know what you're thinking. Well, what about this router over here? Won't the same thing happen? The answer is yes. So if Bob logs into his PC right here, he's going to send the discover message. It comes this way. Now let's just say it's going to go this way because this is a broadcast. So it's not only going to go to this DHCP server right here, it's also going to go to this one. So when our router gets it, since he's acting as a DHCP server, he responds with an offer message and it comes back. But since this port is untrusted, the switch is going to drop it. So here's what we need to do if we want this to work. We need to tell the switch that this port is trusted. So you have untrusted ports, and then you have ports that are trusted. If we tell the switch that this port right here is trusted, when our real DHCP server responds with an offer, it's going to come in, and the switch is going to allow it because the port is trusted. So then the offer comes in, and it goes down to Bob's PC. Now Bob's PC can respond with a request. It goes back up to the server. The server responds with an acknowledgement, and now Bob's PC has an IP address. Okay, so here's the deal. If this port and these ports and pretty much all of these ports, if all of these ports are untrusted, if somebody happens to plug in a device that's acting as a DHCP server, any offer or acknowledgement that comes in these ports is going to get dropped. So now no unauthorized device can issue our IP addresses to our clients. But if we make this device right here trusted, because this is where our real DHCP server connects, when he responds with an offer message, the switch is going to allow it because we're basically telling the switch that any device that's connected off of this port should be trusted. So now our real DHCP server can issue our IP addresses to our clients. But ladies and gentlemen, that is how DHCP snooping works. Again, we're trying to prevent any device that's not authorized to be a DHCP server from being a DHCP server and giving our IP addresses to our clients. That can lead to a man-in-the-middle attack. So enable DHCP snooping on your switch, and the only ports that will allow the offer message or the acknowledgement message coming from the servers are going to be ports configured as trusted ports. Any port configured as an untrusted port is going to filter them. And again, you only configure ports going to your real servers as trusted.